This episode of Super GG Radio is brought to you by our Patreon. Patrons of the show can get our Dogs of Super GG Radio newsletter, Super GG Radio stickers to slap on your closest PC or bag, input on what we cover, game nights with the hosts, and even a chance to win a copy of an indie we talked about. Not only that, but 90% of all patron contributions go to the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. Visit patreon.com/superggradio to learn more.
What's good, Internet, and welcome to session 272 of Super GG Radio, where friends chat about video games and all things adjacent. I really didn't write an opening this week, so we are gonna wing it. Wing it like the Americans that we are.
I went last week. It was awesome.
That's good. But also, I'd like to bring up this week that we all suck at video games.
You'd speak for yourself.
I'm looking at two people in particular, and I'm going to call them out many times during this episode. So, I'm your first scrub host, Eric Getty Gettinger. With me most of the time, not next week, because he's bailing on us, is Alex Arona.
I'm a rap fan, Getty. But I'm a life fan, more than anything else. You ever seen that Wake Me Up Before We Go music video? Choose life. Choose life.
Is that what we're going with?
Yeah, that's what we're going with. I'm having a pretty good week right now.
That's good.
I got a work trip to Minnesota. Got some other stuff happening, etc. Things are going pretty good.
The Twin Cities.
Nope, Rochester. Not even the cool place of Minnesota.
Oh. I was hoping that it was going to be St. Paul and then you could just get drunk and walk over to Minneapolis.
I mean, to be fair...
He did still try to get drunk and walk over to Minneapolis.
I was going to say, it could be anywhere. It could be anywhere. Minnesota, really.
Not now. It's not snowing there. It could, though. Alright. I'm not doing anything for you, Joel. I'm disappointed. You got all this free time, and you only played 5 hours of Ender Lilies. This was homework. I was expecting more.
I am nothing if not disappointing, Getty.
Expect very little.
I mean, you even made it through the first Mass Effect.
Yeah. That was a feat. And again, that ended very abruptly.
It ends abruptly when you don't engage.
No, that's
sure.
Not the point. It ends on an exclamation, but it feels like it's premature. It feels like there should be something more there, narratively, not relationship developmentally.
Well, to be fair, there is. There really is. But again, also, like Alex said, you have to engage.
You stopped Sauron. Yeah, you stopped him.
Yeah, did you make him shoot himself in the head? In the face?
I thought I shot him.
I didn't have time to go back. You can tell him to, like, hey bro, you can end it. And he's like, all right. But then you have to do the boss fight anyway, so.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
The boss fight was not fun. Very annoying.
It's okay. It really depends on the class you go to. And if you've maxed out everything and you get all your Spectre gear, I get the feeling that you didn't do that.
He and there are the other enemies that, like, they almost not teleport, but like jump around so quickly that it's hard to just stay oriented to their movement while you're select. Yeah, he was like that, and I always had problems with those. So.
All right. Last but not least, the man that I'm most disappointed in, the man who assigned the homework of Ender Lilies, and then was like, guys, I'm not having a great time with this. Alec
with the
Parks.
Self-assigned homework.
You know, sometimes you have those rose-colored glasses and you remembered it being one way, but in reality, it just stabs you a lot.
In the face.
In the face.
The glasses stabbed you?
No, the experience stabs you.
Oh, I was thinking the glasses stabbed me in the face.
I
So we're
mean,
talking about a metaphorical stabbing.
yes.
I don't like stabbings of any kind.
Man,
You might want to steer clear of that topic, too. I want to get us in trouble. Or maybe I do. I haven't decided yet.
How do we
It might
get
be
in
one of
trouble
those
for
nights.
this?
I'm very confused.
The internet is always judging you.
I mean, that is just true.
Isn't that Catholicism?
Also true.
That's, yeah. Unfortunately.
So I've heard.
All right, internet. We're going all out tonight. We got video game homework, which is Ender Lilies. I'm going to spoil it. I don't care about you guys. I played the whole thing. I did it. Alex, you're probably close enough that you're not going to care.
We got
Everybody
Ender
else,
Lilies, we got Catholicism, we got stabbing, we got everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
well, it's not like Catholicism and stabbing are two mutually exclusive things. There is a lot of
Also
stabbing
literally
in
just-
Catholicism.
I also
Yes,
just
there
beat
is.
the boss that was stabbing. There was a boss that does stab. Stab.
Yeah, but we will really get into it in the second half of the show. First half of the show, I guess we played some betas this week. And then I'm pretty sure Alex filled out the news with Pal World, whatever. Somebody's getting sued, and for once it's not me, so I'm happy about that.
How many times y'all been sued?
More than Joel, but less than Alex.
Okay, I mean that feels like an odd number. Joel, how many times have you been sued? Give me a number.
Less than Daddy, but more than Alec?
This is confusing.
That doesn't work at all.
Alec has never been sued. His number's 0. Am I correct, Alec?
Yeah. Well, how do you get sued? I mean, like, do
You have to be
automobile
served
accidents
papers.
count? Okay.
Oh, you have to be served papers. No, I was not sued directly then.
All right, so nobody's
was
been
pa-
sued.
I had somebody. I had a company trying to sue my company that I was involved in.
I don't think that they would serve you papers directly, but I could be wrong.
No, they did not. But I was involved in that. But I mean, again, I was part of the investigation.
Would you like to incriminate yourself tonight?
He already
No,
has.
I wouldn't be. The whole thing's done. It's more like I don't want to badmouth.
Don't say it.
Yeah,
Don't
the
say
name.
it.
Go ahead and name
Don't say
drop
it.
them here.
No, so I don't want to badmouth certain hospital groups. How about that?
All right, that might still be too oddly specific, but whatever. We're in trouble. The internet's going to shut us down. They're going to pull the plug on this podcast. Until then, we're going to march on over to Early Adopters, where we play alphas, betas, and anime games? I'm going to say anime games.
This one I thought was pretty. I thought it was definitely like a Getty game.
Which one? Because I felt
The
like
anime
both
game.
of these were Getty games. Because I definitely picked them.
Yeah, I was like, these are definitely Getty games.
I was like, whatever. So Steam, let me take 2 steps back. Steam is really nice now. It's like, hey, here's some suggestions of game demos that you might want to try out. And I was like, all right, well, you're pandering directly to me. So I found 2 games this week. First one we're going to talk about is, well, this is going to be fun. Mecha Simultactics Alpha.
Simultactics. Yes.
Simultactics. Alpha.
I think it's Simultactics.
You're a Simultactics.
It's something, all right.
It's a game I'm not good at.
It took me a couple of tries, but you can play this fast or you can play this slow. The first couple of times I was really like thinking about it. I was in my head. So what is the game? It is right now it's a 1v1 where you can play against AI, but you are in a mech and you are facing off against another mech. 3D-ish, not terribly 3D, but it's more top down. And
There's tiles here.
it's grid based.
It's not dissimilar to Into the Breach.
Yeah,
And the kind of isometric view and buildings and such. Larger space to work within, though.
for sure. And the movement can be much zippier than the turn-based Into the Breach.
Yes.
So
And again, 1v1 mecha.
yeah, and I mean I'm interested to see what they do with it, but you get you get different move sets. You have like a thrust that will. Well, your movement can be varied too. You could do like a dodge or like a very fast movement to get up close to your enemy, but they're also moving at the same time that you are. So it's like a chess match with picking what kind of attacks you're going to use. Even has like a rock, paper, scissors with the 3 attacks that you can use. And, if you're trying to move around, like take blocks or move across the path of one of your enemies, then they could just like, turn and attack that spot and you're going to get caught, which I really like because you have to stagger your approach and rely on guesswork at times. Like, is it safe to move over here? Is it not? But then there's also special attacks, which I was just starting to dip my toes into, but I didn't get great at those. So all of these different things, you are moving either turn-based. Oh, it's all turn-based, but you're either moving in a slow nature or a fast nature, depending on how you feel. And this might be kind of fun to 1v1 couch co-op somebody to see what they're going to do.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even think about that. I found that the way it worked was that when you pick the moves, there's a certain range, but I had a tough time understanding where my range was, because you are like, it's like, oh, this attack does the 5 tiles north, south, east, or west of you, while this other one will only hit the one directly in front of you. Sometimes they'll hit only three blocks in front of you. It all depends, and so I found that sometimes a move will work like one time. So I'd like one of the moves, like, oh, the guy's gonna attack me, so I'll hit a parry, and I'll parry his attack. But he had queued up like 3 attacks in a row, and I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna. Oh wait, he punched me. Oh wait, I'm gonna grab hit punched me. Okay, I'm gonna. It just kept at a certain point you could get really pummeled.
That's where the rock paper scissors comes in. So depending on what move you choose, it might be overridden. Like if you're trying to hit him with a beam sword or something, then that's going to be a heavier attack while he's using lighter attacks to interrupt you, and you effectively lose your chance there. So that's where I had success. I don't know about you guys, but if you are able to dodge around and move to the side of your opponent and then engage, that was very helpful. Grabbing.
Because there was a certain move that you had to do to pivot.
It was like a dodge, I'm pretty sure. And then you could use it to just move one square, but if you're getting attacked, then it's going to negate some of it.
And I definitely tried I grabbed somebody and I threw them into a wall, and that was pretty...
Yeah.
That was pretty successful, but I definitely... The first time I grabbed somebody, it took me 4 tries of getting pummeled in the face. And that's where I was like, oh, this is not great, like for me to understand what is currently going on. And then by the time I did grab them, then it was like, okay, now I could throw him into a wall and I do as much damage as he just did the first, like hitting me like 4 times in the face. And I'm like, I don't know if this was a worthy, move to do. But I was working on it and trying to understand it. So. Yeah, so I think it's pretty interesting to set these up in these little, like you said, rock paper scissors. I feel like I did not have as good of understanding as to how it worked.
I would recommend if anybody's going to jump into this, try a couple of matches, do it at a slower pace, try and feel it out and figure out what each of the moves does, and then try and do it fast. If you do it fast, it's a completely different feeling. You're still selecting all of the commands that you want to do in real time, but it makes it feel better. Otherwise, you're like,
cooler too.
I don't know. Do I want to go this way? Do I want to go that way? Like,
It adds a bit of pressure. Like part of the fun of this game is how dynamic it can feel despite it being turn-based. You only had 1v1 practice battles on. I tried to find a lobby to play online and didn't have much luck with that. But I was pretty straightforward with my approach. it was a lot of fun grabbing them and just tossing them, and then seeing them fly 4, 5, 6 tiles away, like a cool mech battle. A giant laser that you can just obliterate people with.
That beam is crazy.
And every
How'd you
time
get special moves? How'd you guys get special moves?
It's just special moves.
there's at some point they'll let you trigger like a burst button where your character sort of starts bursting into flames, and then you did another menu option for special moves on there.
Okay.
I always shot that when they were like one tile in front of me, and of course it splashed damage back on me in the explosion too. But I'm jealous I didn't get to see some of the. Are there destructible environments? You said you threw somebody against a wall.
Yeah, wall breaks.
Yeah, so that's a bit of fun I didn't get to see in this, but the bones are solid. It's a solid foundation, and I am following them now just to see how this develops, because I think it's a neat idea.
I do like mech battles, so.
You do like the mech battles, the mecha, if you will.
Giant robot animes.
There we go. That are mostly about politics.
Gundam is like a political show first, and then it's got robots.
So dry.
It's not that dry.
Horrors of war, depending on which one.
So the horrors of war. I'm gonna watch Neon Evangelion. If I want mecha that's fun, I'm gonna watch Darling in the Franxx. If I want to watch political melodrama, I'm gonna watch Downton Abbey. Thank you.
He's not really gonna watch any of those shows.
I've seen both Downton Abbey movies in the theaters.
He doesn't have time for movies. He's got a kid.
Love Downton Abbey.
All right. So when we weren't piloting our mechs, the other thing that we were doing was playing around in. Oh, jeez, I really didn't do myself any favors with these names.
Nope. That's how I was like, how is he gonna do this?
REYNATIS. I'm gonna call it REYNATIS. So that's
REYNATIS.
REYNATIS, and this is just like an anime action game, and you play as a couple of characters, but everybody seems to be a wizard. But it's like a weird battle wizard, or a battle mage that
lightsaber wizards. I didn't play a ton of this only because I spent 15 minutes listening to dialogue. It's a very narrative heavy story.
Yeah, I have no idea what the whole intro was about. I just kept hitting that skip button.
Alec, I appreciate that so much. It's very on point for you. Like, too much. Just
is this important story, or is this just garbage?
I mean, it's important to the game.
I mean, again, it depends on how much you actually want to play the game, yeah. But I will say this, that it had a lot of interesting mechanics in how it works, because it's easy to make an anime hack and slash, but when you can throw in like, oh wait, no, there's a lot more components, like a social component, vis-a-vis, I don't want to be, like, because you guys are cops, like kind of like, wizard cops.
One of the characters is a cop.
Yes.
I thought this whole thing was like you guys are kind of the wizard cops. Like you're a part of the whole...
You play as one of the cops, and then you play as a renegade mage. And that guy is way too cool.
I don't think I got that far to be the renegade mage. I was just the cop. Yeah. But the cool thing for me was that you are, being a police officer, you can choose how much you do for the people, and also how much you talk to people, and how much, like, you could just choose not to help people, or if you're too strict, or if you do something too, do something a specific way, it could look bad. And so there's even like I have to show my like cop uniform, like be a cool, like sophisticated person, or I just rip off my hood and now I'm gonna beat somebody down mode. So that was kind of an interesting concept of like, oh yeah, you can't, I mean, you could go guns a-blazing, but it was not gonna be a good look for you.
Yeah, so when you're actually in the combat mode, the guns a-blazing, you cannot interact with civilians on the street.
Yes.
They won't talk to you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, I think that it also you have like almost like a social battery, where if you could talk to people, but after a while you're gonna start to get real stressed out about talking to people. And I was
Yeah.
like, hey, this game is speaking to me in a weird way. I'm like, yeah, I don't want
And
to
then
talk to people after a while.
And you can drink tea from the vending machine to reduce your stress.
I mean, that just makes sense.
Did you order off the secret menu on the vending machine?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny. I appreciate that they were like regular secret menu. I was like, okay, I can get on that.
Right?
Bought myself one of those auto reses. I didn't need to use it, but it's still funny.
I can imagine you do, because the combat is a little bit tricky. All your attacks, there's only a light attack, and the light attack uses your mana. Once you're out of mana, the only way to reaccrue mana is to do a perfect parry, hold the button, and then let go at it as soon as you see a dial come up, and it spins around. And as soon as the dial fills, you have to let go, and then you will up your mana.
I did find that the perfect parry was very forgiving.
Yes.
Like, it slows down time for you.
See, I was getting pummeled. I did not. This week of betas for me was just me getting pummeled in the face. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I could not hit those parries to save my life. I almost died in the tutorial.
I guess this is that's on me. Maybe.
No, it's a skill issue. I think it was just my week for being
what?
at these.
Are you admitting that you suck at video games?
Not all video games. At this one, I'm kicking butt at at the video game homework. These two
only
betas,
games where he can just stand there and click everything in the background to see which one does something.
Only games where you just go around clicking nonstop.
How did we get here? How did this happen?
So you
I'm
need to play
feisty
Baldur's
tonight.
Gate.
How did we even get? What are we talking about?
We're talking about click holding.
That was also a good game. You guys liked it.
Was
You all
it?
liked it. You liked it.
I-
You beat it.
Who
You beat
who liked this game?
That's the you love Harry Potter. You've seen all the movies. That's because you made me. No, you love them because you watched them all. It's like, you guys love click holding. You all beat it.
And I'm the one that
No.
made video games unfun.
No, this made video games weird and uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's the kind of party I go to. Either way, I think that the combat there's a nice push and pull to it when it comes down to the attacking and then refilling your mana. I feel like that it is just, I can't just hack and slash your way through it. You have to stop and be thoughtful about how you do something so you can parry and then get everything back again. So I thought that was cool. It definitely changed it up a little bit. Is there anything else? Getty, what did you think of these cool anime people? I thought they were nice. They were real fun.
Again,
Designs.
so Alec, you did make it to the second character?
Oh, I beat it.
Oh, awesome. Oh my gosh. What happened this week?
Yeah, Alex, you don't normally beat him.
I know.
He was avoiding
that's-
Ender Lilies.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Play
that
this-
might be true.
Play
That
this
fills
anime
my
and play
heart
Under
with
Lilies.
such joy. So the second character, again, he's too cool.
Oh, he felt straight out of Kingdom Hearts. He had leather straps and
I was gonna say, how many belt buckles did he have?
So
Like,
many.
He had like 7.
But
Wow.
when he transforms, he's like, I'm just gonna put my hood back, and then his hair goes Super Saiyan. His staff or rod turns into like this
Yeah.
crazy pike, like an energy pike, and he's. You also get to use some like special moves with him. And I felt like I enjoyed the combat a little bit more with that character than the first one. But either way,
The first person, the police officer, their special move is they can slow down time. Like it freezes everybody in place, and you can just wail on them. So.
After you do one of the okay. I'm talking about the moves that he was able to use in combat, though. He had one that was like a burst shot, and it would do a whole bunch of damage after. I mean, it would really reduce your gauge, but I like that one. Not so much the knocking him into the air part.
Yeah, once you switch to the second character, you actually get more. You have more than just your light attack. You have 2 spells, basically.
And you can use them.
Yeah, to increase your combo because your combat is graded every time, and that increases how much XP you get.
Oh yeah, because it's a star ranking, and it'll be like 16% extra experience or 25% extra, et cetera, how many stars you get.
Yep.
It was pooping out a lot of items too. When you get to that second area, it was like, oh, look, you killed this guy? Here's a bunch of stuff. And I was like, I like stuff. What can I use this for? I don't know. It wasn't in the demo.
It might be a crafting system later.
I'm sure that there has to be a crafting system. I also found his story to be, at least from what you get to play, a little bit more interesting than the other character. The other character's like, I'm a police officer, and this guy's like, my whole family is gone, and I'm this cool mage with this hood that makes my hair fly up.
And I have to be the strongest, and it's lonely business.
Yeah. My whole family's gone now, but I'm awesome. So I'm gonna tear a hole in reality and go into this forest and release monsters. Oh no! Oh wait. There's another system that you missed, Alex. So when you engage in combat, when this character engages in combat in the real world, it creates like a state of alert. So then you have to go run and hide, but that element is like you go stand over on a spot and that's it.
Yes.
So I think that system needs some work. Otherwise, I do like the idea that you're like a renegade and you have to escape and try and cool off the fuzz from catching you. Even though you're saving people. It's going
to be telling like the same story amongst 2 people, like the police officer who just all of a sudden starts to see corruption, and then the one guy who's trying to expose it, and they end up teaming up to take down the corruption inside the police department.
Maybe.
Nope.
It's a tale as old as time. Really.
I don't think there's going to be too much work done on the hiding mechanic because this game does come out in like a week.
Okay. Well,
makes sense.
Okay. I guess that answers that question. I don't know if it's the answer I wanted, but
it's the answer we deserve.
Yeah. Joel, you've been awkwardly quiet.
I think you know why.
It's because you were too busy playing Ender Lilies to completion to experience this game.
True ending.
I've had life obligations this week, Daddy, that I won't get into here.
You could have at least gotten the bad ending.
All my endings are bad endings. I never go for the good ending.
That's Super GG Radio, kids.
Always go for the bad ending.
We are your bad ending.
Let's all contemplate our own bad endings.
Yeah, we're gonna take a break to feel bad about our bad endings. We'll be back. All right, I guess this is the news with Super GG Radio. Now with, I don't know, stuff. More leaks. We got more leaks this week than anything else, don't we? Are these real leaks or these Alex Arona rumor mill leaks?
No, these are real leaks, but I'm not putting in the rumors. I did not put in the
rumors. Thank you. I appreciate that. Next week, we're going to play a game called Rumor or News, just because I know you won't be here.
That sounds fun. I could also throw in some fake news for you if that's also fun for you, and then you can decide which one's fake news or real news.
That's how we operate here. That's how rumors are.
I can make that a game. I can do that. I know how to do that. Go ahead.
No, so what would you call it?
Oh, I don't know. Give me some time to workshop it. I actually know how to make it work, though.
Oh yeah.
What you do is you put a black highlight over some text that's black, and so you don't know, and then what you can do is just remove the highlight, and then you have the answer.
Okay.
Cool.
That's not what I asked, but okay.
I
gotta come
can
up with a
call
name.
alternative facts.
I said give me some time.
I
time
just
to
wanted
come
to
up
know
with
what you would call it,
Yeah, I'll
like
come up with
news or not, or I don't know.
I could do better.
All right, that's what I wanted. So go do better.
Yep.
But you know who's not doing better? Nintendo.
They need to do better. It's not fair.
I don't know. Some of these things looked way too much like Pokemon
But
to be
they're-
comfortable.
This is shameless. Like,
They're not
come on.
suing
Disagree.
based
Hard
off of trademark. They're suing off of patents.
Okay.
I want to know what patented technology Pal World is using.
Ah.
They're saying that I think that some of the the actual models might be ripped out of some of the 3D Pokemon.
There
Is
have
that
been
correct, Joel?
there have been side by sides that show that it's almost distinctly the same model. Let's not split hairs here. Like it's blatant. Come on,
You're blatant.
Pal World
I
can
wanna
pound
know.
sand. This is ridiculous.
I'm against it.
It's real close. So Nintendo and the Pokemon Company are suing Pal World developer. The Pal World developers have said they will fully fight Nintendo to ensure indies aren't discouraged from pursuing ideas.
That's
But
why they can
come
pound
on.
sand. That's why they can
No.
pound sand.
That
is
Disagree.
shameless.
No, because
that
I
is
agree.
shameless
No, I agree.
pandering to the internet community that they cater to. Get real. Come on.
Hard disagree. Hard disagree. I think that with lawsuits like this, that does scare off indies from doing new ideas.
But
Cassette Beast.
it looks
could
like they're
easily be
using the
part of a
same
lawsuit.
models, Alex. It looks like they're using distinctly identifiable characters in their game, and that's
then- no, but
dangerous.
what is
That's
it-
dangerous.
Cassette Beasts could be removed because it has you collecting beasts that are elemental in nature and also combinations of other
There was
animals.
another game that I played that
There's a bunch of them.
There's
Yes.
a Metroidvania I played. You are conflating like actual damages to people taking ideas of games and then making something wholly their own. Like I understand this is a survival game, but when they're actually
guns.
when they're actually like lifting character designs nearly directly from its source, what do you expect? And I don't want to be a Nintendo stan about this because their litigation is awful.
You are the biggest Nintendo stand on this podcast.
Well, but that's a low bar. Like that. What do you expect them to do? They're gonna pursue it. I'm surprised it took this
but-
long.
It's not the copyrights, it's not the ripping off. This is patents that they're suing over. Patents are pieces of technology, system methods.
And
So what patents, and those haven't been named, what patents is Nintendo suing over? That's what I want to know.
yeah.
sure, and I assume that'll come out in the litigation, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
I
Again-
want more. Pokemon needs competition. When are they coming for Temtem, Joel? When are they coming for Temtem?
Temtem.
that is
Who's
Pokemon's competition.
Temtem?
Temtem was the Pokemon that was
The online only Pokemon that Alex and I did like a stress test and had a bad time with.
I also reviewed it for the Switch.
We had a bad time because it was a stress test and there were so many people. So we kept like logging in like, I didn't get anywhere this time. Like, neither did I.
But also, that's kind of an MMO.
It is.
Yes,
what it's like?
it is an MMO.
So like that.
It is
That's a distinction.
I
So
believe
Pal
you have
World
to
is
be
survival
online.
game.
Yeah,
no
but
Pokemon-
I'm looking at Temtem, and none of them are like
I
offensively
can
the
give you
same
some-
thing. When
I
I
can
looked
give
at
you.
these,
I can give you some Tems. I can give you some Tems.
then take down Temtem too. I don't care.
I do.
Th-
That's
just,
the problem.
Just drown the whole Pokemon ripoff industry.
No, do you know why Pokemon needs competition? Because they've been blatantly bad for like 3 games.
And it's the fans' fault for continuing to buy them.
I'm saying is that they need to do better, and if they can't do better, someone else will.
Yeah, they will.
And then
and
they
it's
will
not
get
Pal
sued.
World.
I like Pal World better than the last Pokemon.
I'm not defending Pokemon. I'm just saying Pal World isn't.
You played the last Pokemon?
No, I did not.
Okay. Well,
That seems like a bad faith argument.
Yeah. But Temtem was good. I like Temtem. That was very fun.
all right. You know, considering that the last Pokemon was open world,
Was that?
I don't know,
Was Arceus
maybe-
the last one that came out?
No.
no, it was. There was another set after that.
It was there was
Scarlet
an
and Violet?
Yep.
Yeah, Scarlet and Violet.
So maybe there is something that we're missing. I don't know. I'm not a lar. Are
I
you?
heard it was still pretty rough.
Anyway,
Joel, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
You have been playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
I had, yeah.
Did you get Wazzlered?
I don't know what Wazzlered means. Elaborate.
Wazzler is a Justin Wong. Justin Wong is a very famous e-sporter in the fighting community, in the game fighting community.
Alec, do you know who
of the
that is?
All time.
I have no idea.
Okay.
He's famously known for getting bodied by Dido in Street Fighter 3 in a major upset comeback in one of the old Evos. Like, it's a very
Yes.
infamous snippet of the last moments of their championship match.
Exactly. And he is on the leaderboards for Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in the highly competitive online league for Steam, PlayStation, and Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And there, if you go to some of the reviews for the fighting game, the arcade collection, you see people who joined an online match, got decimated by Wazzler, and then have refunded the game. And there is an online story right now about getting Wazzlered, because that's his online name.
People are learning the harsh reality that playing at an arcade and beating the arcade mode or fighting some rando or a friend is a lot different than going online and playing with everybody, including people who just sat in their house for hours on end practicing combos.
I mean, they make money that way. And this game, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, has been out for was a game that was been around for a very long time.
Early 2000s.
So there's time for them to get good at it and master it, and then just think about it though. If that were you, if you were like, man, I am so good at this game, I'm just gonna go online and blindfoldly beat people down.
I'm trying to think what game I would even have a chance of being that good at.
For me, it's more the fact of, would I do that? Abso-friggin-lutely.
I mean,
I would
part
get
of the problem
bored, I
here is the
That's why he did it on
matchmaking
all
system.
systems.
Sorry, what was that, Alec?
The problem is the matchmaking system. Somebody with no rank, no wins, no losses, or a seriously disproportionate ratio of losses to wins should not be going up against the Wazzler. They shouldn't be in the same leagues. The matchmaking is terrible, especially if you're in a ranked competition.
Without looking, I wonder what the actual like how many people are actually playing at a given time for these games right now. A portion of the game is that you can play online versus, I think, for practically every one of the games on that collection. Mm-hmm. But unsurprisingly, most people are playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So I'll ask to join a lobby for Marvel vs. Capcom 1 or X-Men vs. Street Fighter, and it's like the game gives up and pushes me into a match with somebody who's playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which is interesting. So maybe just the player count is low enough where you're going to get Wazzlered here and there.
Especially considering that, again, he's doing this on 3 different platforms.
That's his life now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's a competitive esport fighting game player. That's been his life.
He's competitively kicking your butt, whether you like it or not.
But it's
on
just a
3
funny
different
story
systems.
of him being like, because again, when you see and of like esport people, there's very rarely a time like I've been in an Apex Legend match where I recognized the name and I'm like, oh, that's a famous streamer who plays this for hours and he just smoked me. That's kind of cool, but it's very rare to see the people that you know as being like the famous ones at this game. And in this case, he is like, apparently it is now a very common occurrence that people are just getting like, oh crap, that's not a good sign at all. On every platform.
Well, I'll update you when or if I get Wazzlered.
Please do.
Okay.
This sounds hilarious.
It doesn't sound hilarious for Joel, but all right.
He might find it. I think he would find it fun.
I am one of those cases of I was good in my friends group, but awful outside of that. So I worked through the pain. So
There you go.
All right. Well,
My
let
brother
us
would
know.
beat the crap out of me in the game and then say, well, that's the only way you're going to get better.
yep, skill issue.
Yep.
Keep us apprised of your wazzling. Until then,
Keep on wazzling, guys. Keep on wazzling.
we have Rivals of Aether 2, a release date October 23rd, 2024.
Aether.
Ether.
Aether. Starts with an A. This
Aether.
is one of the better indie Smash Brothers. So if you're in the Smash Brothers for the technical
Nintendo,
aspect-
you heard that. You're coming after these guys too.
Oh, if they do, I'll be so mad. I love Rivals of Aether. Because, again, it's more if you want to be into Smash Brothers for the technicalities. You want to know the aspects of the game as opposed to just being like, oh, I want to play as that character that I like the Samus. I like the Super Metroids. That character's fun. I like the technical aspect.
This is an arena where it's the fighting genre thing, right? So, just because Marvel does a tag battle thing doesn't mean that Tekken can't do Tekken tag battle. Different game, different play types, different moves, etc. So, yeah, totally legit. Rivals of Aether.
And I got you.
Rivals of Aether was like born from people who were tired of the way Smash Brothers was going and wanted to meleeify something and have it be purely technical like that.
And with a heavy modding scene, too. So
Alex will mod your games for you. Just reach out to us at mail@superggradio.com.
thank you, Getty. Joel, I got you into Rivals of Aether. What did you think of it?
I liked it quite a bit. I'll be curious to see what a sequel looks like. I think there's going to be roster changes, probably certain gameplay tweaks. I'd like to see something more substantive on the single-player side because it is such a small community that even worse than Marvel versus Capcom, you're going to get bodied if you play anybody online. So
That's true.
I'd be curious to see what they do with it.
Okay. I mean, obviously the option is 3D, but in 2D planes.
I'd rather see better looking pixel art than 3D.
I like the pixel art they had before, but I mean, not that you're wrong. It's more like I thought pixel art was also good, so I agree with you.
Yeah, no, I just mean like thinking like Game Boy Color to something better. Like that was like Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance quality of graphics in that. I think they can do better.
Yeah. Right?
Okay.
Yep.
We got some leaks here. We got Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster leaked.
I just don't know if we needed this yet, but it's the same thing as the Last of Us 2 remastered. I don't think we needed this yet.
Who knows? Probably not.
What else we got, Getty?
Freedom Wars Remaster leaked.
I am very excited about this one. It's so the Monster Hunter genre, for those of you familiar, is actually a genre. I don't know what the name of it is. Someone told it to me once what the actual genre is called, but there is a genre that is, oh, you're in a hub world doing some story stuff and you're just building gear out from monsters that you've killed. Go out into the arena, hunt said monster, beat him down, break off parts, build new armor and weapons. And this is one of those. But for the PlayStation Vita. So it's been stuck on the Vita for a very long time. I mean, it was a Vita exclusive, and now it's coming to PlayStation. So it's exciting to get this game back. Especially, it's always nice to get a game off of a stuck console, right? This was stuck, and you haven't seen anything about it since. So how could we play it again? Now we know how.
It's nice to have another Hunter like to play.
Yeah, there's another series that was actually part 3 was on Switch, and I can't remember what it was called. Not God Hand, but
That's a game for sure.
Was it?
God Eater.
Okay.
That's it.
God Eater 3 is on Switch.
But just the third one.
Yeah, I don't know where 2 or 1 was. I never played that series, but I played 3. No, they were all what was God Eater 1? I don't know where God Eater 1 was. PSP. God Eater Burst was on PSP. Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a neat little series, especially again if you're trying to get in, if you want some of that more Monster Hunter stuff.
Is that what you want? Do you want to hunt your monsters?
I do. I'm so excited for Wilds. I'll play anything that's Monster Hunter like to get me ready for it.
We look forward to your report. But we have other stuff to talk about.
Yep.
Like Plucky Squire going 1.0.
Reviews are mixed, but people are still excited. I hear it looks great.
I mean, it looks great. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, the big complaints that people have been saying is that it's surprisingly easy. And, hey, it's an indie game, so it's pretty short.
That'll happen.
That'll happen.
Does it need to not be easy, though?
Well, there is
not
something
everything
to
can be
said.
Ender Lilies.
There's something to be said about like a breezy experience, right? There was one of the freebies is a real breezy experience I liked, but it depends on what you want from it. In this game, I think that they put challenges up there that people were saying like, "Oh, this could have been a harder challenge. You could do more with this." So I don't know.
Well, they can make their own games, right?
Yep, that's called being an armchair developer.
Yep. All right. Well, let's get into the freebies.
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 If I say the name of the first freebie, do I get...
You did a mulligan.
You get a mulligan.
I just want to make sure that I'm protected from saying this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready.
The first freebie of the night, first freebie that we have is Holy Shit on Steam.
This has been on here before. It's a clicker. You're clicking poop. It's got a halo. Nailed it.
The system
All right.
requirements, minimum OS, Windows XP, Vista, 7, 8, 10.
Oh,
So-
no. Features. Shit gameplay. Nailed it.
There's 100 achievements for it.
Well, Alec, you know what you got to do.
Is it just a count of how many times? It's just how many times
It
you
is.
click it.
Yeah, it is. 14, 45, 98. I'm seeing it.
100,000 clicks.
There we go.
Ooh. It's a lot of clicks. All right. Next up, Slider on Steam.
Slider. It is one of those sliding puzzlers where you just have a slide board and you're moving pieces around, but really it's how you interact with the world. Just like that one game I just played. What was that game I reviewed?
You tell me.
You're not thinking of a ranger, are you?
A ranger.
Really?
Yeah. Kind of like a ranger, you're sliding around puzzles in the world to solve things. Like a fisherman saying, "Hey, the fish aren't biting," and then you look and the fish can't swim upstream, so you have to move the fish up the stream with a sliding puzzle. Things like that. It is free. It's a nice, cute little indie game. Came out in July. Slider. Pixel art looks a little Game Boy-ish.
All right. Next, we have Toem, a photo adventure over on the Epic Game Store. I played this.
I love this game. This is a nice little breezy game where they give you a world, aka like 8 different maps, and your job is to solve problems by taking photos. So it's pretty fun. It's very cute and very entertaining. I love this one. I bought and beat this, so I was like, this is worth it. Toem.
And last one is The Last Stand Aftermath over on the Epic Game Store.
A single-player roguelike action-adventure. After you are infected by the zombie virus, set out to explore the apocalypse and find hope for your colony. You can make a difference. Don't give up. It's like a tilt-shifted zombie shooter, but roguelike, with different weapons and perks that you can unlock for your runs. Okay.
All right.
I'll buy that
Them's-
for free 99.
Them's the
$3.99.
freebies. All right.
How much it cost?
This is the moment we're going to have to take a break so everybody can get their book reports ready, because I'm not going to be nice about this one. Get ready to hand in your homework, guys. We'll be back.
Justice for Tom Bronson. Tom Bronson.
All right, we're back. We're back with the Backlog blog where we're going to talk about Ender Lilies in detail. And I'm going to start by throwing the shoe at Joel.
Yeah.
Dude, you started playing this week.
Yep.
Like, this week. We had this homework for a month.
Yep.
And Alec has been crying his eyes out, trying to play it, having
so
a terrible time. And you're like, man, I'm just going to take... This is like high school level. Like, you got one person trying to do the work, trying to achieve, and then you got the other guy like, I'm going to put in minimal effort.
Getty's the overachiever. I'm the one actually busting my buns here and being like, this is pretty interesting. And then Alex like, I can't do this. And then Joel's like,
Like,
What are
we
you guys
have
doing?
the whole spectrum here.
Yes, we
Alec,
do.
Alec, I'll give Joel a chance for a rebuttal. Do you have anything to say before I pass it over to Alec?
I mean, you're technically correct that I started it late last week. I'm not sure what kind of rebuttal would pass the sniff test, other than, like, I put in my 5 hours.
I'm just throwing it out there. Okay.
I technically did.
Hey,
the
look,
achieve-
you
the
set
thing that was
you set
asked.
the finish line, okay? Just because you said it was a 5-mile run and I didn't do a marathon.
Hey.
doesn't-
It is. I'm just saying we had the time, so I took advantage of it. I know that not everybody has the time right now, so I'm just throwing it out there. So, video game homework. Video game homework is a wonderful thing that we do on this show where one of us picks a game that we think is worth or worthy of everybody's time and effort, and we will play it, either to completion, to a certain point, or, up to an hour mark, just to get a feel or a flavor for it.
Getty, I'm always playing to completion.
He says that, but he's also Alex
that's
Day
true.
One Arona.
No.
I have that on a badge here. This time it was Alec, and Alec brought to us Ender Lilies, so he is going to tell us what Ender Lilies is, why it was important, and, I can help walk us through this segment, but I want you to be the man now. This is a good one.
So Ender Lilies is a very stylistic Metroidvania. It's set who knows when, who knows where, but you wake up after a plague has beset the village, the world, not quite clear on how far it's spread, and you're able to cleanse people after fighting them. And
Yeah.
The real question is, why did you not do it earlier?
because you didn't have the soul of the undead night dude.
Well, I think it's more the fact that you were put into a deep sleep.
Yeah.
I thought that you were asking him why we didn't play this game sooner, but
No, I'm asking why because that's the thing that they talk about is that like, oh, she was put into like a deep sleep.
oh yeah, there's so much lore. There's so many notes that you can pick up and read.
I have a YouTube video saved of like Ender Lilies explained, and I'm like that'll be great because I'm not 100% sure what's happening here, but that's okay.
Because I'm not going to read any of this. Continues to jump around.
I did, but it's everybody's perspective on one like little section. Like, oh yeah, I was friends with the police chief, and then but then I backstabbed him, and then I made the flowers for the queen because I love the queen. And I'm like, okay, but that tell me about the plague, or no? We're gonna move on, or what? Okay, cool. We're gonna.
And some of them are from the perspective of the characters that you run into. So
you get their memories. You get their active memories.
Alec is alluding to the fact, though, that you have a guardian, the Umbral Knight, who is seeing you through this quest.
Yeah, so that starts off your basic attack. You can manifest this Umbral Knight to do a basic slash attack and chain it up to 3. You get a dodge mechanic, or you start with it.
Whoa! Do the way that I said it.
you dive.
You straight up dive out of the way, and you don't get dash or dodge until like 12 hours in.
That's kind of what I liked about it, is that your when you get a Metroidvania, your character just all of a sudden becomes this powerhouse of just like extra, just like, oh, I could destroy people. And it's like, no, in this game, you're getting ghosts who are just going to hang out with you, and they will do the work for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of cool, because then your character is still this kind of really delicate meat bag. Like, oh, I have to move out of the way, because... and I don't want to jump in too fast, but I will also say that that's kind of how it feels with the difficulty. Every time I will meet somebody, I'm like, oh, this is a cool little enemy. One swipe, half my health. Fantastic.
Yes.
Hey, that's your fault.
Just a tiny aesthetic thing, talking about the whole spirits doing all the work. They do a great job of making the little girl still seem pretty much terrified throughout everything that's happening, in spite of that. So like it.
Yeah, because her dive is literally just like a literally like face, like full, like she's on the, like she doesn't do a cool roll. It's no face plant slide.
And okay, Am I the only one that heard gunshot sound every time that she landed on the ground?
No. Yes, you were the only one.
I didn't.
Not like
no
true
idea.
gun, but like one of those like canned sounds that you get from some program on a computer. No. Okay.
I don't
No.
think so. I don't know, but I mean,
I definitely thought it was funny though, because it just reminded me of Little League, just like a little 8-year-old diving for the
Yeah.
fight. I'm like, oh, that's not gonna be good going face first, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the artistry, every character is just so well, like very finely detailed in this really unique artistic way, almost like those, Joel. What are those dolls that like Kelly collects? Those like Precious Moment dolls with the giant anime eyes.
Sure.
is
Yeah,
that
no,
a
it's
thing?
like a
Is this a
girl,
real
like,
thing that's
She's
happening?
praying. Yeah. I'm gonna
Like
Yeah.
you got precious moments around the house?
I
My mom
imagine there's like a precious moment. Yeah, that was more of a mom thing.
But I definitely like they're porcelain, and that's what the character kind of looks like. Is this like porcelain doll, big eyes, and just like wavy hair. And
She
just, like, a little
pops
dress.
out from the rest of the environment because, like Alex said, everything in the world was stricken with this plague. There was a rain that transformed people into these awful monsters, and she is this like white beacon that can purify all of the monsters that she encounters. And
But then she'll like
use
all of a
them.
sudden just like call in this giant beast with a friggin' hammer to smash down things, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like all of a sudden she's like, giant hammer, ghost beast, boom. And that is a very, and again, the art, the artistry and fine detailed animations and how each character looks and design is just, it's top notch.
I think the first time I thought like, oh, that's cool, was I don't remember her name, but the witch. the witch boss that you fight, and they've got the layer of water on the ground. It's got the actual light shimmering and reflection on it, and it is different, but not so different that it's distracting or feels out of place. Like they towed that line really well.
Yeah. And that's your abilities, is that you have 2 hot bars, aka your abilities. So you have a X, Y, and B attacks, and each one is a different ghost.
You create presets using
and you can swap between the 2 presets.
But you have to remember that some of the spirits that you acquire, they have a limited amount of attacks that they can do before you have to go back and recharge. Sometimes you can find some drops in the environment that will refresh how many charges you get, but the big bosses that you defeat, then they will give you a spirit that can use their attack over and over again without needing to recharge. That's one of the great things about the Umbral Knight, is you can use him pretty much for the entire game because you never have to worry about running out of attack.
The recharge point, is that the rest area?
Yes.
Okay. I never knew for sure. So
yeah, and then it's very Souls-like. You get all your spells back. But I definitely like that the again, if you get a boss and you get a boss spell, the boss comes out and does their thing there. That when you fought them, they had this one ability, and it's what's cool is, again, that little girl never does almost anything except for walk. Because and she can walk, dive, and then later on she gets a dodge. But there's even not to jump too far ahead, but there's even a wall grab where you can just wall climb, and that isn't her. She jumps at a wall, and all of a sudden this giant beast guy comes with 2 claws and stabs the wall, and she's just like hanging on this ghost guy with claw hands. And he just jumps, she jumps, he goes away, and then she hits the wall again, and he comes back out and claws the wall. It's wild because he's not always around. Only when you touch a wall.
Yeah. She's this empty vessel that is able to summon all of these spirits. I think that's what I really like about Ender Lilies, is that it has different mechanics from what I expect in this genre. I loved the music. There were so many times when you would go up to a boss and just some badass music would start playing. I played it all the way through to the end. I could not
hold on.
abide
Now you started that. You started it.
I started the music talk because, I mean, I really want you to get to that end boss music, but...
So I think that I have an innate problem with Ender Lilies music.
Oh, yeah?
So the first area, the song is probably a minute and a half on a loop.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of every area, is that they only have a minute and a half of music. So you hear the same loop a lot.
That's my life.
And that's annoying. And then
I disagree. I like that. Because then it gets stuck in my head and then I'm humming it because I know that now.
Like,
but I can see why you wouldn't like
you
that.
just hear that every once in a while, woohoo! I'm like, oh, stop woohooing me. And then on top of that, the music design, it's we. I don't even know if I would say it's awesome, but it's not. Bosses in a lot of cases have multiple phases, and I think the music's very good, except for when it's in these weird things, like it's repetitive, or in the boss phases, the music just hard cuts. There's a boss, phase 1 and phase 2, the same song. That's fine. It's intense. It's whatever. Then hard cut as soon as they go into phase 3, silence, and then new music. And it's weird. Because then you go to the boss again, like after you die, and it's like, the music again. Hard cut, new song. It's like, you couldn't have made it a little bit more fluid.
You couldn't want like to fade in, fade out.
Yeah, just something except for hard cut.
But all of those fights are so abrupt when they change phases. There are some where it's an even harder cut than others. So I think the witch is the first one. Well, not necessarily. Maybe Siegfried is the first one where it's like, all right, I'm fighting this, and then it just totally morphs into a terrifying monster. And that's what I expect from it, because it is an abrupt change. And then the witch does it too. And then there's some other bosses that do it too towards the end.
Yeah.
But
So
Alex still hasn't experienced the really fun one.
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet, but it's just something to understand for me, that I'm like, oh, okay, this feels like this is an indie game, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just more the fact of that there could have been a little bit more polish with that. That's how I feel. Now, Alec, what did you think about the Metroidvania-ness of it all?
So I found it hard to remember where I wanted to go back. I am so used to other Metroidvanias having detailed square by square kind of maps instead of one general, oh, this is your whole area. Bam, one square in the map.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Of course, I didn't get as far as I wanted to. Skill issues. So I didn't have an opportunity to really go back either and find things I missed.
In terms of progression, on that map, they do have little red nodes or dots as to the entry, and like unexplored, there's going to be a door here in this area. I felt that made it not too difficult for me to get a sense of where to go next, because I didn't experience all that much in my time backtracking far behind you. I don't want to say linear, but there was a natural flow that sort of kept you going in a certain direction, it felt like, up to my point.
Yes.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like, to your point, Alec, it like you can't go into one of those rooms and then have it show the outline of like what's in there or what might be like the structured layout of that level. You just have the square, and then you have to figure out what's in it. So,
Well, good news, Alec. Can I interest you in Ender Magnolia?
You know you can.
Where that is what it is. You can go into the map and it has that shape of the stage. I played 17 minutes of that game. And I can already tell you that is one of the features in the new game,
That's an impressive
sequel.
That is an impressive upgrade. Now, I didn't mind that so much, but I definitely felt like first off, there's a leveling system where you level up, and I just don't know if I see the benefit from that.
Arbitrary leveling system, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It increases your attack and your defense, but not your health. In order to upgrade your health, you have to find items or equip relics.
Yeah. Yes.
It did increase your defense, because, like Alex was saying, you come up against a new monster, and all of a sudden
the monsters get tougher. They get progressively tougher. So the monsters at the beginning of the game, if you go back, and there are some parts where you have to go back if you're looking to get the true ending, they will not hit as hard anymore.
Okay. But that was what I was saying, is that I felt like I was actively discouraged from the backtracking and the exploration. That's the thing about Metroidvanias, is that you want to explore every nook and cranny. And I am close to the end, and I don't want to go back because it's never been fun. The game is very difficult, and that's kind of the point of it, is that the game wants you to slow down and be methodical. Kill enemies, but that you can't just swipe at them a bunch. You have to dodge. You have to
Alex,
move.
you hit it right on the head at the beginning. You are this tiny little fragile thing in this world that is trying to destroy you, and all of these monsters, they are going after you. So you have to play conservatively. You have to avoid and dodge and make sure that you're not getting hit, because you are weak. Your souls, your weapons, the creatures that you can summon, they are your strength.
And that's the piece of this that true, like, I know there's the save point, it refreshes all the monster stuff part of souls, but you don't have the soul currency that you lose when you die. which is
No.
nice.
No.
Like I liked that, but the combat is where it feels very Soulsy. In that these enemies, you're gonna have to chip away at them. It's not a 1-2 slash. You're not going to get an upgrade that, for the most part, makes you feel indestructible. You hit these bosses, and my first inclination is just to try to power through it and just knock its health down quickly. No, you really need to watch the patterns and time your dodges, or dives, I guess in this case where I'm at. And the timing is really critical in a way that it fools you because it's slow. You know, naturally,
Yes.
when you're thinking timing, it's like, okay, it's going to be a snap judgment decision. No, there's a wind up to everything in this, and you need to know what length of time that wind up is.
And that's the thing, is that's why it's like, oh, that's a cool thing, but I also felt actively discouraged from wanting to continue and to explore. I felt like, oh man, it super duper sucks to get through that gauntlet of enemies, so why would I want to do it again? And obviously it sounds like I can go back and I won't have too much issue because of the level I'm at. I'm like over level 70, but it still feels like every place I've ever gone to has just been
also,
like, oh my god. I
Also,
made it
vary
through
your
with
relics.
so
What do you have for relics right now?
Oh, I have it. I have 9 slots, and I'm using them for like health and not getting hit so hard.
Yeah. So, okay, that's not too bad. I mean, there are a lot of relics that you can find and pick up. The tricky part is that you also need to find items that will increase the amount of relics that you can equip. Yeah, that was one of the things that I struggled with. There are hidden areas, there are places that you need to explore, and it's just
Fake walls.
so much that you can find, and they will help you, but you also got to find the health ups, and eventually, as you progress, you can find it is souls, and you can use those souls to level up your monsters, your summons. Except for the Umbral Knight, who has very specific ones that are difficult to find.
Oh man, yeah.
I've never found one, so I just assumed that it was going to be like, oh, you can level him up
There-
after you beat the game or something.
No, where you're at, you should be able to get him to 4 or 5.
I've never found one, so
They are very tricky to find. I stumbled across them. And then when I got to the end of the game, I was like, man, I'm not going to be able to do this without leveling him up, am I? Well, and then I found some more, because in order to get the last tablet, it's like right next to it. And that has a cool story beat.
I used the hammer nun.
The Hammer Nun.
Just pretty good. I did also want to just talk on the bosses as well. Like I was just saying, I know, Joel, you were having some of the problems with some of the bosses, but I definitely was in a very rough boss just like today and yesterday, where I was talking to Getty through it, and I was like, Getty, this super sucks. And he's like, yeah, that boss sucks. But,
yeah, attacks that you effectively cannot dodge.
You can. That's
Eventually you find the gap and the pattern in it, but it feels like you cannot avoid getting hit.
Yeah,
and it is frustrating.
That X thing is like,
and he's got 3 phases,
Yep.
and even after you get him down to like 2 of the phases, he just amps up the speed even more, and whew, guy's
what
tough.
I wanted to say though was that I at one point I was like, I'm getting frustrated, I'm getting mad, I need to take a break, whatever. And then at one point I was like in a meeting, and I was like, you know what? I know what the problem is, and it's the problem thing I've been telling everybody the whole time. So I went into a meeting, I have no audio, headphones off, and I beat the boss because I wasn't overthinking anything. It was dodge, attack, initiate his attack, dodge, attack, and it was so slow. But that's kind of the deal, is that you shouldn't be getting greedy. You shouldn't be jumping in. It literally is just like dodge, attack, and you have to wait. It's like, oh, maybe if I get a little extra damage, if I take another swing. No. Only one swing. Move out of the way. one swing, get out of the way. It's very, very particular. And it's just one of those things that, like, if you're trying really hard and it's going really fast, you're probably not doing it right. Because even the guys that are just dashing and like seem aggressive, you can slow them down. You can be like that. Like, you can just like, oh, okay, if I'm a little bit, like, if I find a medium distance, it takes them a second to like figure out what attack they want to do. Or they'll like, oh, if I go closer to them, then it initiates just their basic attack. So if I can just keep them doing their basic attack and just keep dodging, it's easy. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just one of those things that you control the flow of the fight. And if you are not, if it feels frantic and chaotic, you're not doing it right.
Yes.
And that's what I thought was like actually kind of interesting. I took headphones off, not paying attention, saying on my phone, while I'm just like, okay. If I just don't pay attention, it just go like, and I'm not stressed, I'm not worried, I'm just doing very rote movements and animations. It's like, oh, okay, I beat the boss. And I thought that was cool. So it for me, it was about like, as soon as I understood that, I could meet the game where it wants you to be. Yep.
So, Alec, what did you hope for us to gain out of this experience? Was there anything to gain?
There was nothing to gain. I wanted us all to play it because we all had a copy of it, and
My man.
it's been on my list.
That's a good reason.
Yeah.
Got
And I
it.
think at the same time, I do think that there is, we've all, like, there's been a lot of Metroidvanias lately. I know Joel and I specifically have been like, he was on 9 Souls, and he was on 9 Years of Shadow. I was on Pronti. You know, I was on Gory, which is kind of a Metroidvania. I was on, it's like all of these different games are all just Metroidvanias, just came out at once. There's the new Prince of Persia, which is a Metroidvania. There's a lot of them, and all came out at around the same time. So now it's about, what does this do different? And what this does different is difficulty and slow, methodical pacing. And I think that's pretty cool as a variation. I do wish there was more to it, though. I feel like I needed an extra mechanic. But I don't know. Joel, did you, after getting off of 9 Souls and 9 Years of Shadow, do you feel worse, better, or what?
That's part of what made it a struggle to start. I mean, jokes aside, I did actually start playing this approximately 2 weeks ago, and then I put it down to start it back up again this week. But part of my challenge at the outset was playing 9 Souls right behind us, something that could very well be my favorite game of the year at this point. Such a frenetic, fast, frantic game with such a heavy emphasis on parrying. There's multiple parrying, and then figuring out like an airtight window to try to slip through to get hits in on them. And like, it's such an exciting thing to play through, and it's really stylish. And you get to this game, and you're right, you have to go at a snail's pace. It was the same mistake I made playing what is that Metroidvania where you play the knight who is
Hollow Knight?
No.
Shovel Knight?
No. That was a bad question.
Blasphemous.
The one
Blasphemous.
Blasphemous.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's very
Yeah.
slow and methodical.
I had it in one. But I do like Hollow Knight. What's the one game you play as a knight? Hollow Knight. I was going to
said
scream
Shovel
it
Knight.
too.
I
That's
said
a
Shovel
very
Knight.
dumb question. I did it.
There's too many knights. Why are all these games revolving around knights?
But Blasphemous was also very slow and methodical.
It was like, this is not tough as nails, like painfully difficult like that is. My complaints about the boss fights, in retrospect, it was always like okay, I needed to sit back and observe a little bit to see what's happening before I engage. And that's what really this comes down to is 9 Souls. They force the issue on you because they're not going to give you a moment's rest. They've got the wind up, the pattern. You just need to observe a little bit and then try and approach. And it's a good game for that. It's just that, again, it has the unfortunate fact of being right after something I've been really enjoying.
I will say, Matt, that my complaint is that the game gives you mechanics later in the game that I felt would have been better explained from the jump.
You mad about the dodge, or you want to talk about any of the other abilities that you unlocked?
No, abilities weren't the problem. There is, in the beginning of the game, you will find these steel doors, and you will hit it. You hit a switch, and it will unlock the steel door. So the puzzle becomes explore the level till you find the switch. Later on, they have those same switch doors, but also sometimes those doors will open if you kill every enemy in the area.
Oof.
But they don't tell you which one it is. And at a certain point, I'm not killing every enemy in the area.
I didn't have this problem.
So-
I know what you're talking about, but it seemed clear which rooms I needed to kill everything in because it was specifically designed as a kill room to kill you.
Sometimes it would be a small room where the two gates would lock you in.
Uh-huh.
That's different.
That's towards the end.
In the tower where you fight the crazed Captain Julius, it's just a big ballroom. You can leave. But the front door to get out to the next area to fight the boss, you have to kill every enemy in that ballroom. And that to me was very frustrating because I spent hours and watched a bunch of YouTube videos where that gate was open, and I'm like, why is my gate closed?
What's funny is that there's also a couple of areas that, like what you're talking about, where if you go through it, you can completely circumvent the instance where the gates close because you can go over, like you can just go over it, and if you do it correctly, you can land on the other side and not have to deal with it.
But this was not one of those.
Yeah. But
I
this
watched
game,
I
again,
watched multiple YouTube videos, and it's like, why is their gate open? But he's like going slow and killing every enemy, and I'm like, what is going on here?
why are you killing stuff? Just go.
Yeah, you could just because some of those enemies are annoying. But yeah, so it just for me that was a little bit like, oh, that's kind of annoying that like no one explained it to me, and those gates are the same exact gates. I'm
This game is not your friend. It wants you to get frustrated, and it wants you to have a bad time. But that's why I think I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm still going. I got 2 more bosses based on my list. I don't know if that list concludes the last boss.
Yeah, I think it does.
And I got the bad ending. There is a bad ending.
Yeah, there's
there's 4 bosses deep.
Real weird ending that I think that
Joel,
we deserve to talk about a little bit.
If you get to the end of the map, the end of the right, like all the way right on the map, your character will just like pray, and then it'll say, "Oh, she went to sleep."
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's like, "Oh, okay." Oh,
it's
oh,
like
it's
one
credits.
one of the other like one of your predecessors is just like, I guess she couldn't do it after all. All right. End of the game. Like, oh.
And it's a button prompt. It's like, "Do you want to pray?" And I'm like, "Sure." And then credits. I'm like, oh, weird.
That is.
Now, how quickly do you think you can get to that ending?
Oh, pretty quick. That's like
I don't know.
3 to 4 bosses deep, I'd say.
Yeah, but how long?
Alex is going
I
for
probably
it.
did it. Probably like 6 hours, 7 hours. But
17 minutes.
But I wasn't struggling.
You checked it? You can get
Yeah,
to
I
it in
checked
17 minutes?
Oh, no, I saw how long to beat. I saw the speedrun records on this one.
But he's talking about how long you are going to take to get there.
No, let's not talk about that.
I mean, you could beeline for that section of the map.
All right. Does everybody think that they've sufficiently talked about it? Does anybody have anything else that they want to add? I don't have to tell you about the last boss. I'd actually rather not, so that Alex can get frustrated at the stupidity. You're not going to go for the true ending, though? You're going to go for the neutral ending? Or
Well, no, I'm going to do, like, you beat the game, and then there's a grab these couple things in the maps, and then you beat the game again. At least that's what I read.
I didn't beat the game. I just went and collected all the stuff, and then I beat the game. So
Yeah, but I mean, like, I was just gonna beat the game and then grab all the items and then I guess I could grab all the items beforehand. I guess that's not too big of an ask. So
because there is one area that I've already prepared Alex mentally for, but
I mean, I'm in the area that literally there's just poison gas and it's like, oh,
you
it's just gonna
can,
slowly drain
but
your
you
life.
can avoid those. So there's a couple of areas that have these poison gas clouds, and in one of them you can go around the gas clouds. You don't have to go through them. The area that I have specifically, I hate it so much because it forced me to go back and pick up more items in order to complete it, is this. It is a gauntlet. You have to run through and make it through the entire area. There's a very few places that you have a safe haven, but even that isn't going to help you because the second that you step out of it, you will be losing health again. So it is damaging you over time the whole time you're in there, and then you will eventually get to gas, and then you get to water, and then that water damages you.
Yep, I got that.
Oh,
Yeah.
But
Again, mine's not everywhere yet.
then there's spikes, and you have to dodge through the spikes. Any wrong move, and you got to do the whole thing again. And if you don't have enough health, you're just going to end up having to go back and farm until you can get more. Oh, man. That area, the moment I encountered it, I was like, well, now I got to beat this. Because I was not going to take that lying down. All right, I'm off my soapbox.
What are we getting? Everyone? What's the grade for everybody? Alec?
He's got to go last. This is his video game
yeah.
homework.
Okay.
I'll go. B minus, and that's tentative before I did an actual chance to finish playing through the game. It's won me over a spot to get through at least a finish, but I like the world that they're building. A lot of the attention to detail in the animation and art is meaningfully good. Now that I've got grips on what to expect in the combat, it's much more. I understand the language a lot better, and it makes it more interesting to me in terms of how to approach it. And I just got to be able to swim, so like I've got a lot to go find. So, yeah, I think B minus is sort of where I sit.
I will go next, and I'll say it's a B plus. I love the artwork. I love the way it plays. It feels good. I think it really has changed and challenged how I think about Souls-like or Metroidvanias just in general. I do wish it did a little bit more with that kind of stuff. I feel like that some of the stuff, the way they gated things did sometimes feel a little bit like it was gating it just for gating its sake, like without actually like having a good reason or mechanic for it. I feel like just sometimes it was like, oh, by the way, you get a butt slam to slam down on gates below, but not to the right. To the right, those same exact gates are for a different ability. It's like, okay.
Mm-hmm. You got to be able to pierce those with a lance. What are you doing?
Feels like if I could break them with a hammer, I should be able to break them all with a hammer.
Not the kind of momentum that you need.
it's missiles and super missiles.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I like it. I'm gonna beat it. So,
Straight
or
down
at least
missile
I'm
or
gonna-
left to right missile?
I'm gonna get the other endings. How about that? It's already on my beat list.
With the asterisk. that ending is so lazy. That's like getting an ending in Nier Automata. Like, oh, you ate the fish. Ending.
But you got an ending for Eat the Fish?
Yeah.
You die.
Yeah, you die.
Oh,
You get an ending if you take out your OS chip.
I got that
You
ending.
did an ending if you walked in the wrong direction at a point in the game.
At Pascal's Village, yeah. If you walk away from Pascal's Village instead of towards it when it's under attack, you get an ending.
I got that one. Because
Yeah,
I
there's-
couldn't remember which way Pascal's Village was.
I think it warns you.
No.
Well, there's
Really?
even the
Yeah, you hit the loading screen and it was just like, oh, you're done.
well, there's even there's the part where like 2B is like corrupted and she's trying to walk back. If you walk, are we talking about the same thing with Pascal's Village?
Maybe.
I think that might be a
Okay.
different part. But yeah,
Okay.
it does.
Yeah, because you're supposed to walk to the bridge, but if you don't make it there in time, it's just an ending. It's just like, oh, she wandered off, never to be seen again, or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Okay, I guess I gotta go next. I'm gonna give it an A. Because y'all suck at this game.
I don't. I'm having a great time.
All right.
I stand by my remarks.
As one of those people who suck at this game, I'm going to give it a B. I thought what it did was interesting. I really thought the music was good. I enjoyed the art style. I just do not have the patience for slow and methodical Metroidvanias. Give me my action. Let me actually feel like my levels are doing something.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm still going to pick away at it and get an ending.
I think we know what ending you guys are getting.
Yep.
Maybe I'll get the neutral ending.
The mid ending.
I really want to know how that boss fight differs from what I did, so I'll ask you, Alex, if you're going to do the regular ending.
Now
Or
you're
Alec.
making me not want to, so.
I don't know. I don't know what the difference in the boss fight was, or if it's just a difference after it plays. But
We can Google it.
I'm not using the internet for that. That's a waste of technology.
I'll Google it.
Yeah, I know you will.
Mhm.
All right. Ender Lilies video game homework is completed. That means that we can immediately move into October's video game homework, which Joel is announcing today.
I am. I mean,
You sure are.
we're talking about just the spooky game of the year. Okay.
Yep.
Because we do Halloween.
Okay, I just want to make sure this doesn't count as my video game homework choice.
It
Okay.
does not. I
I'm
think
up next.
Alex
Okay,
is next.
okay.
And he has to pick the game that he made us buy already.
Alien Isolation. Alien Isolation is the game we're going to play. This game is supposed to be very well known for how scary it is and how the game responds to the way you play. Am I understanding that right? Like the
Beats me.
alien itself is sort of stalking you and is supposed to be responsive to things you do in the game too. So it's like, I think there's some potential for Alec to be very unhappy after all this is said and done. But
What he doesn't know is that I already convinced him that he's going to come over to Getty's house and we're all going to play it together.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be holding the controller 90% of the
there you
time.
go.
Like I said, it'll
It's
be a
on
breezy.
sale.
Did it drop on sale? How much?
It's
Like $5?
$9.99.
Ah. Okay. You should get that, and then you should get this game that Joel still needs to complete. Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Shane
I-
Benson word.
I am not going to make you do that. I appreciate how hard that one was in comparison to some of the
Just
Persona
know
games,
I really
so.
wanted to, Jetty. I really did.
It's a rough ride. It's a lot of content too.
Take you for a ride.
You got that stuck in your head? All right.
Where my head's at.
That'll take us to our final segment of the night so that we can finally go home to our families. It's one last thing, and this week's one last thing is brought to you by, I don't know, Ender Lilies, I guess. Disappointing you and making you feel inadequate since, what, 2022?
Yes.
That sounds right. I don't know.
It came out last year, 2024. 2023?
No.
I'm gonna
2021.
2020, making you feel inadequate since 2021. All right, my one last thing. I am making some serious progress in Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I completed my Animal Crossing. Pokemon is done. I don't think that there's anything else for me to do as far as side games go. I think I did all the side games. So
Did you do all the erotic feet pics?
erotic feet pics. Is that actually a thing?
I thought so. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, there is a dating app that you can do. I thought I told you about that.
You did. Did you finish
Yeah.
it?
You don't have to do all of it. I only got like 5 dates, and one of them was an FMV. The other 4 was catfishing. So
Aw.
I got catfished real good. I don't want to talk about the catfishing though. It's something else.
Yeah, it's almost you're almost done in time for ReFantasio.
Oh yeah?
People
No,
say
I
it's
think I
real
have
good.
something else that I'm supposed to play.
People say it's real good.
It sure looks like a game.
It's a game. It's Persona Game of Thrones.
It sure looks like a game. All right, Alex, your turn.
I'm doing pretty good. Just hanging out. Nothing really going on. I was no, seriously. I was thinking about work likes and all this stuff. I'm like, currently don't have one. And House Flipper 2 came on sale, but that's not the discount enough for me to want to play House Flipper 2. But it did make me think about going back and playing Viscera Cleanup Detail. I wonder how, when we're not messing around, how good that game could be. So, got that loaded up, and we'll see.
I think there's only messing around in that game. You know, you have to inventory all the items that you find.
Understood. I'm curious about that. I don't know if I would love that mechanic, but we will see.
Because I've played through levels and I would still get failing grades because I didn't inventory everything.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a way to get rid of that.
Nope. You have to be an adult
What kind
here.
of modding scene is there for Viscera Cleanup Detail?
Oh, there's probably so much. BRB.
You know, it's crazy because all that DLC. Yep. All right. Joel.
I'm not one to share personal family details, but funny anecdote: my youngest bought a Wii, and my parents apparently had a pile of games sitting there too. So he now has 20 games, and he's informed me that he wants to open a rental shop in his room of all his games and try to make us rent his games. I'm gonna have to break it to him that I'm not paying him $1 to play Wii music.
Just wait until he asks to play on any of your systems.
Oh, you know what? I do actually have a family video sign up there. $1 for 5 nights. That, no wonder they went under. That's
Also, it's funnier for me to say they all went out of business for a reason, son. Nope, they all
It's true.
Consumerism. Say I'm gonna pirate these games. And watch his heart break as you tore into the games and then play them on your Steam Deck.
You sit down and watch this progress bar.
And just so you know, this is going to be taken away from your money.
Gross. All right. Alec.
Well, now that homework is turned in, I'm going to jump into Space Marine 2.
Ooh. You bought it?
I got it with my video card.
Did you add it to the buy list?
It's on the buy list.
I
think it counts.
I didn't buy it.
It is free.
Well,
Yeah, but
he paid for it.
come on. You paid for it.
Pay for it one way or another.
That's true.
Is it truly free? I don't think so. All right. Well, that'll be it for this week's episode of Super GG Radio. Before we go, you can find us on Twitter at Super GG Radio and twitch.tv/Super GG Radio, where Thursdays, much like tonight, we will air our podcast. You can watch us. You don't have to deal with an audio-only format. You can watch us roll our eyes at each other. Hand gestures. A lot of flipping the bird here.
Hand check.
Only real viewers will have seen what our hands looked like then.
But not our feet.
Not a fee. They gotta pay.
That's not allowed.
They gotta pay.
That is not allowed. Otherwise, Alex and Joel supposedly have a stream called the Itty Bitty Indie Committee. Will that make an appearance?
Who knows?
You tell me, Joel.
I will tell you.
It's either that or Drunk Souls. I need a day in advance to prepare my kidneys, my livers.
All right, so we might have streaming. I don't know when it is, but keep an eye out.
It's Tuesdays for Mass Effect, Wednesdays for me.
Okay, is it? Is that
Yes.
true?
Yeah.
I don't know. Sounds like rumor mill to me.
When was the last time you played Mass Effect? Was it really
Yeah.
Tuesday?
It was this.
I
Yes,
started Mass Effect 2.
I watched him. I was hanging out with him. It was pretty good.
I don't know. Was it during working hours?
Yes.
For him, yeah.
Okay.
I was talking to him in chat. Man, that's a pretty good game. And you're like, yeah, it is. End of conversation.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I was
Great.
I was in a meeting.
All right. Yeah, if you'd like to reach us with questions or input, our mail address. Are people really going to email us?
Should.
Fine. All right. If you want to email us, you can hit us at mail@superggradio.com and provide us a review on iTunes or the podcast app of your choice. You can also check out our Patreon. You can get some monthly dog pictures. Maybe have your name read off as an executive producer at the end of the show. We'll give you free copies of video games. That sounds pretty good, right?
Absolutely.
And you can even get a chance to be friends with us and play video games, because we do that sometimes. Not a lot, but thanks for listening.
Only
and
the Patreon patrons? Only the patrons will get to be friends with us. I can't be friends with us.
I know. Yeah. Thanks for listening, and good game, Alex.
GG Getty.
Good game, Joel.
Good game.
Good game, Alec.
GG.
Getty, if we were going to start a podcast where we watch all the bad video game movies, I was looking for titles, and Joel had his idea was feature-length cutscenes. Mine was games on film.
I mean, I'm not in love with either of them, but
Okay.
I think that
We can work.
the shorter one is probably like, it sounds zippier and more like a tagline.
I mean, I kind of, if just the two are my option, I'm leaning towards feature-length cutscenes.
Yeah. I mean, for the name of a podcast, yeah. I don't know.
What
I'm
was
not
that?
sold
What
on
was
either
the
of them.
question?
You guys can do better.
Say,
Okay, cool.
he was pestering me, and I spat that out.
I asked once. You just have not.
You
been
asked
very...
once, and then you followed the next morning.
Yeah, because you haven't responded to anything.
I do some
You
email
told
you
me-
send expecting where you have like a red receipt. Wait.
Yeah, it does. First off, GChat does show.
How's it?
time.
What's it like,
Also-
Joel? What's it like? He does this to me all the time. When I'm trying to like work, he'll be like, "Hey, Getty, what do you think about this?" And then it'll be like 6 hours, and then I'll finally get home, and I'll be like, "God, I just want to die." And he'll be like, "Hey, buddy, did you see what I sent you earlier?" Like, yeah, I did.
No, Joel seriously has nothing. And then he's like, "Oh, by the way, I can't stream tonight." I'm like, I have to beg you. I'm like, "Are we going to the stream tonight?" You're like, "No, oh no, I'm not streaming tonight."
You say that just because I'm not employed right now means I've got nothing to do with my days. Like,
Oh, Getty literally told me, he's like, "If I was Joel, I would be playing video games nonstop."
Because you said we should just go back so we can get this going, because this, if that's part of my
what's that?
rant.
Go
Yeah,
back?
Go back.
Go live.
Go live? Okay.